Forget JP Morgan, HSBC, or Bank of America. They control a few trillion at most. But hidden in the shadows of Switzerland is a bank that controls more than $18 trillion. That's not a typo. The Bank for International Settlements, or BIS, manages 10 to 15% of the world's global monetary reserves, all without answering to any government, parliament, or elected leader. Most people have never even heard of it, and that's exactly how they want it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the Bank of Central Banks. You'll see how it was created in the ashes of World War I, how it secretly aided Nazi Germany, and how, right now, it quietly shapes your inflation, your interest rates, your loans, and even your job prospects, without your vote or your knowledge. This is the secretive empire of the BIS, and why your entire financial future may depend on what happens behind closed doors in Basel. Chapter 1. What is the BIS? The Bank for International Settlements, or BIS, is not your ordinary bank. You can't open a savings account. You can't walk in and apply for a loan, and there are no public branches, because BIS is a bank for central banks. Its owners include the US Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, and 60+ other national central banks. From its headquarters in Basel, Switzerland, BIS acts as the quiet command center of the global financial system. Here's what it actually does. Acts as a banker to central banks, holding reserves, making interbank settlements, coordinates financial policies, especially during crises, hosts elite institutions like the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, and researches financial risks, shaping decisions that affect every economy. But here's the catch. Despite its massive influence, BIS is not accountable to any elected government. Its board meetings are closed, its decisions are secret, and its power almost untouchable. This has led many critics to ask who really controls global money, and for whose benefit. Chapter 2. Born from War and Built for Control. To understand the BIS, we need to go back. World War I had just ended. Germany was ordered to pay $33 billion in war reparations under the Treaty of Versailles. To manage these payments, major central banks from the US, UK, France, and Germany formed a new institution, the Bank for International Settlements. Its mission? Facilitate payments and stabilize global finance. But from the start, BIS operated in the shadows, and by the 1930s and 40s, that secrecy would explode into controversy. Chapter 3. The Nazi connection no one talks about. When Nazi Germany invaded Czechoslovakia, the Czech Central Bank pleaded with BIS to block their national gold reserves from being accessed by Hitler. But BIS complied with Nazi orders. It quietly transferred Czech gold from BIS accounts in London directly to the Reichsbank, the Nazi central bank. This act, widely condemned, showed where BIS's loyalties truly lay, with central banks, not nations, not morality, and certainly not the public. Despite calls for BIS to be dismantled at the 1944 Bretton Woods Conference, it survived, largely due to pressure from the UK and US. And just like that, the most controversial bank in history walked away unpunished, and more powerful than ever. Chapter 4. Secret Meetings. To this day, BIS holds closed-door meetings every 2 months in Basel. Only the top central bank governors are invited. No press, no public, no accountability. Inside those rooms, the BIS helps shape decisions that affect global interest rates, inflation strategies, currency values, and how countries respond to financial shocks. Imagine this. A group of unelected bankers meeting in private, deciding how much your groceries should cost, how expensive your mortgage will be, or whether your bank survives the next crisis. They don't need your vote. They don't even need your approval, because they operate outside the reach of any democratic system. Chapter 5. How BIS quietly controls your life. You may never interact with BIS directly, but you'll feel its presence everywhere. Here's how. Interest rates. When the Federal Reserve adjusts rates to fight inflation, they're often acting on BIS research and warnings. Mortgages and loans. The The Basel III rules, crafted at BIS, dictate how much capital banks must hold. That determines how much credit they can give you and how much they'll charge for it. Currency stability. BIS helps countries coordinate currency interventions, like during the 2008 crisis, to prevent market chaos. Job market. BIS alerts central banks about debt bubbles or overheating economies. That feedback leads to tighter policies, which can increase unemployment, reduce hiring, or slow growth. And when things go wrong, it's the BIS that quietly brokers the bailout. Chapter 6. Crisis Manager or Puppet Master. To be fair, BIS has prevented global catastrophes. During the 2008 crash, it helped coordinate the emergency response between the US, Europe, and Asia. During COVID, it provided fast liquidity between central banks to prevent currency breakdowns. But with that much power comes a chilling question. If BIS can prevent collapse, could it also influence it? Its total lack of transparency has led to concerns about financial elitism, insider policymaking, conflicts of interest between nations. Some critics believe BIS acts less like a guardian and more like a puppet master, pulling invisible strings behind the scenes. What comes next? Today, BIS is pushing for something big: central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. These are programmable, traceable digital versions of national currencies. The BIS Innovation Hub is already working with major central banks to test cross-border payments with digital euros, dollars, and yuan. If this goes mainstream, the BIS won't just be the bank of central banks. It could become the central network of global currency. That would give it power not just over governments, but over how you spend your money. So next time someone talks about the Fed or interest rates, remember, there's a bank behind the banks. A quiet force in Basel shaping your economy. Without elections, without press coverage, and without most of the world even realizing it exists. That's the secretive power of the BIS. The most powerful bank you've never heard of, and maybe the most dangerous.